Revenge films.
We were a childless couple living in the in-laws' house. To be honest, it was stressful to live with my mother-in-law, Malene, and she didn't hide that she didn't like me very much. I wanted to live alone with my husband, but it was a condition of the engagement that I was to live in her house after marriage. So I moved into her house when we got married. Malene didn't like the fact that I was 2 years older than her son Hamlin and would say, "Hamlin could have had a younger wife, not an older one." She didn't like anything I did. Even when I thought my cooking went well, she would say, "Disgusting," and take it straight to the kitchen sink. She didn't say this in front of Hamlin, but told me that he should realize the mistake he made in his marriage. While dealing with these daily events, I expressed to Hamlin my wish to live separately from Malene, but he said that he couldn't do that now that his father had passed. He didn't want his mother to live alone, so I was denied. I suffered from treatment from Malene daily, which affected my menstrual cycle. It was always normal, but not anymore, and I didn't get pregnant. That also fueled her, and she called me useless, defective, every time she saw me in the house. This made me stressed even more and my period worse. Hamlin wasn't happy about it either. It was a vicious cycle. I could put up with Malene's mean behavior, but when Hamlin started to get cold, I felt like I had nobody. I looked into hormonal therapy so I could get pregnant. I made an appointment and went to see a doctor, but there was something else waiting for me. They said I had cancer. While the doctor was explaining to me how we would proceed from here, I was so shocked that my mind went blank. I don't remember a single thing the doctor told me other than the very word. I couldn't do anything when I got home. Malene yelled at me again, but I couldn't even hear that. But when Hamlin came home, I told him about my condition tearfully. He hugged me tenderly and said I would fight and get better. He told me to focus on the treatment, and I felt his love and support. He said he would tell Malene about this at the right moment, and I just nodded. It was quite a shock when I heard the news, but like Hamlin said, I thought I should fight the disease with all I have left. With him beside me, I was beginning to think a little positively. But it happened a few days later. I stepped out of a nearby store to get something, and when I came back, Hamlin and Malene were talking in the living room. When I overheard the conversation, I froze.
"Mom, she has cancer and she doesn't have long to live. I'll get $200,000 when she dies. That'll make us rich."
"Is that true? Oh, she's finally somebody useful. That reminds me of something. My friend's daughter said she kind of liked you. She's only 25. Why don't you remarry her when that woman dies?"
Hamlin said that that would be great and asked her more about the girl. Just a few days ago, he was concerned about me sincerely and persuaded me to fight the illness together. Was that really the same man? What I just witnessed was his true self. I couldn't stop the tears from flowing, but soon my sadness turned to anger, and I made up my mind to die as they wished. A week later, I had another doctor's appointment, and Hamlin asked me how it went when I got home. I told him what he wanted to hear. They said, "I have a year to go." He looked like he was about to laugh for a moment, but then his expression quickly turned tearful, and he said that it would be okay. If I hadn't overheard that conversation that day, it would have touched my heart, but I could only hate and despise him now. After that, believing I would be gone in a year, they changed dramatically and treated me kindly. Hamlin became caring all the time, and Malene stopped her verbal abuse completely.
"At least it was good that you didn't have a child. It would have been much harder to leave a child behind."
I knew what she really meant. It was convenient for Hamlin to remarry a younger woman if he had no children. The two started spending money lavishly while being nice to me. I pretended not to notice, but he bought himself a nice European brand briefcase. Malene went on an upscale trip with her neighborhood friends. They thought I overlooked their spending because I focused on my treatment. I just watched them spend more and more. They were nice to me on the surface, but laughed behind my back, because I would die anyway, no matter how hard I fought the illness. But after 8 months of treatment, I became cancer-free. Even though there was no prognosis in the first place, he believed my words and that I would die as he wished. Although in the beginning it was true that the word cancer meant a death sentence to me. No matter how much the doctors encouraged me to fight, I couldn't wipe away the word death from my mind, and I was scared all the time. How could I imagine that my death sentence made my husband so happy? Well, it's time they knew the truth. The two seemed happy every day as the end of my life was approaching. One day they were about to go out to meet the young woman who was his next bride candidate. It was the perfect moment for me to break the news to them. "After I went through the painful treatment, I'm cancer-free now." The two were stunned. Hamlin chose his words carefully and said,
What? Cancer-free? But you said you had a year to live!
Did I say that? Medical science is advancing every day. I believe it now. Aren't you happy for me? They were both shaking, but he managed to reply,
Of course I'm happy for you.
Then I handed the paper to him, who still looked shocked.
What's this?
It was a total surprise for him. Next, I showed him the proof of his cheating. I'm sorry I didn't die as you hoped, but I'm divorcing you, so you're a free man to remarry or whatever. I'll claim compensation, though, of course. Now I knew their plan all the way. He tried to deny it by saying, "Oh, you're misunderstanding. What are you talking about?" etc. But there was no way I could forgive them. Believing I would be gone soon, Hamlin had been cheating on me for months, and the three of them often went out together. So I said I would claim compensation from all three. Then Malene collapsed on the spot. Hamlin was still making excuses, but I had enough proof. How could I stand to stay with a man who longed for my death for another minute? I quickly packed my things and left the house. From then on, the two fell into the hellhole fast. I claimed $40,000 equally from the woman whose mother was a friend of Malene, and she said the two told her that it was no problem to have an affair because I was going to die soon. They started a battle on their own, which seemed to turn from bad to worse. By the way, their spending habit, which were counting on my death benefit, resulted in over $50,000 easily. Now that they had no means to pay it back, their house was taken away. Also, Hamlin and I had a mutual friend in his company, and I told him everything that happened between us. The word spread like wildfire, and Hamlin got a new name as the lowest low in the office. Divorce went easily. The parents of the young man came and asked me not to make it public for their daughter's sake and paid all up front instead. They sent her to their distant relative in the countryside. Hamlin and Malene were forced to quit their jobs voluntarily. They lost their home and lived together homeless in parks and train stations, which they so deserved. It was karma for wishing somebody's death, his own wife's. I am planning to restart my life that I once gave up. I may meet someone wonderful and decent in the future, who should be no comparison to Hamlin.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.